Alright, moving on from the last mission we did, as usual, we're gonna switch the graffiti again. Before we start the next thing, which is going to be Shibuya Jet Crush, still we can round off some things in Shibuya Cho, now that we've finished the last mission there. First things first, we've got ourselves a rival. This time, it's Piranha. Piranha is one of the later characters you're going to get in the game, as is evidenced by the fact that we're only just running into her now. In order to actually unlock her, you have to complete Explosion, which we did last episode. It's Shibuya Cho's 4th and final mission. As for graffiti, available to Piranha is Beware My Bite at number 5 for size small. For size large, we have Sharpest Teeth by Piranha again at number 39. And lastly, Piranha has access to the extra large size graffiti Goof Off by Cub Rider at number 73. With regards to spray pattern, Piranha follows the gum type, the most complicated type. 12 to 6 counterclockwise, 6 to 12 clockwise. 12 to 12 counterclockwise, 12 to 6 clockwise. 6 to 6 counterclockwise, 6 to 12 clockwise. 12 to 6 counterclockwise, 6 to 6 clockwise. 6 to 12 counterclockwise, 12 to 6 clockwise, 6 to 12 counterclockwise. 12 to 6 clockwise, 6 to 6 counterclockwise, 6 to 6 clockwise. 6 to 6 counterclockwise, 6 to 6 clockwise, 6 to 6 counterclockwise. And as is always the case, we're going to be showing it off. Piranha's spraying, and combo spraying for that matter, was actually captured in a slightly different part of Bantam Street, just because I couldn't get the spray cleanly with footage the first time. It's very easy to make mistakes with spraying, both on controller and keyboard. Up next is Piranha's assortment of stats. Piranha has a maximum of 15 cans, has an okay health stat, better than average by comparison to the characters they're similar to, has an exceptionally high graffiti stat, and a very okay technique stat. Piranha is basically gum with some extra health. For tricks, forward airs 1080 and shifty, reverse airs flying kite and stalefish, forward grinds front side, backside front side, Machio, far side Machio, X, far side X, reverse grinds, alley-oop soul, far side alley-oop soul, porn star, and far side porn star. Why is it named that? Forward verts, abstract 540, and rocket 180. Reverse verts, backflip 180, and rocket 180. Now, despite the fact that we are about to unlock Piranha, Piranha is immediately going to get dwarfed by our first secret character, the Love Shockers. You can actually unlock the characters from the rival gangs in this game, and since we got a jet rank in every Shibuya stage, the Love Shockers have become unlocked. You don't have to jet rank the non-story missions in order to get the secret characters, but I'm doing that anyway just for the sake of showing it off. In terms of graffiti, the Love Shockers have their own unique set as well, including small size What a Shock by Love Shockers at number 33. For size large, the Love Shockers, you might remember this one from the missions, Shock the System by Love Shockers at number 67, and lastly, size extra large, Heartbreaker by Love Shockers at number 101. Unlocked secret characters seem to be the only one where their extra large is also named by their character name. For spray pattern, Love Shockers take after tab type. Stage 1, bottom to top. Stage 2, top to bottom. Stage 3, 6 to 12 counterclockwise. Stage 4, 12 to 12 clockwise. Stage 5, 12 to 6 clockwise, 6 to 12 counterclockwise. Stage 6, 12 to 6 counterclockwise, 6 to 6 counterclockwise. Stage 7, 6 to 6 clockwise twice. And as is always the case, we're going to be showing off the spray pattern in Bantam Street really quick. As As for stats, the Love Shocker is interesting in that they carry a max can of 30, similarly to Tab, have about half maximum health, which is their power stat, but have an extremely high technique stat, in fact, presumably the highest in the game. Lastly, for tricks, the Love Shockers has 1080 and shifty for forward airs, flying kite, and stalefish for reverse airs, frontside, backside, frontside, Machio and farside Machio, X and farside X for forward grinds, alley-oop soul, farside alley-oop soul, pornstar and farside pornstar for reverse grinds, abstract 540 and rocket 180 for forward verts, backflip 180, and rocket 180 for reverse verts. Those are the only characters we have this episode, don't worry. Now we're actually going to move back to Piranha and show how to unlock her. Piranha is, unlike the other characters that we've seen recently, not unlocked by doing Jet Crush, but instead unlocked by just doing the standard challenges, although there is one minor difference that I think comes up in a later one, or in a later challenge, I should say. Our first challenge is just to jump across some rails. This is the challenge I was talking about. This is the only one in the game, not for a Jet Crush imitation, where you actually have to use the spray painting mechanic, other than maybe Tabs, where it's just teaching you how to do that. You don't find spraying stuff too common in unlocking these characters. I think it's also interesting in playing as Love Shockers for this. They have their own unique voice lines, which you don't really get the opportunity to hear unless you unlock them. Plus the fact that there are characters in the game that you only get by jet ranking all stages or all story missions in a particular area is pretty cool. In case it isn't obvious, this is going to be a recurring pattern for unlockable characters. Love Shockers is not the only one. However, it is the first one we unlocked because we finished Shibuya Cho first. Piranha's missions for unlocking are fairly easy, which is a little more surprising considering they're more of a late game character than an early game character, because we are approaching closer to the end of the game here. Now, just for the sake of completion, we're moving on to Shibuya Jet Crush, which we've technically done basically the same thing before when we were unlocking Combo, but this time I'm going to play as Garum, because I'm not always going to play as Gum. I'm mostly going to play as Gum, but not always. As has been stated before, there is a time requirement to get the Jet Rank in Jet Crush missions, so you're not really racing the AI, you're racing the clock. A lot of racing in the beginning of Shibuya just comes down to sprinting and jumping a lot. Just because you get a minor speed boost for that, it keeps you ahead of the clock and AI. Now, I think technically, if you were really good at managing the half pipes, you can actually build up a little bit of extra speed, which will get you through them maybe faster. But the issue with that is that you actually have to ride up the half pipe and then go back down in order to build up speed. So whether that could save you time or lose you time is up in the air. The last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this run down the hill. Hopefully that same car that bothered us with Combo isn't gonna mess with us now. I think this time I don't actually... Oh no, I do touch the rail. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It is faster if you want to just run down the hill instead of using the rails. And with that, we get the jet rank for Shibuya Jet Crush, which means there's only one thing left in Shibuya Cho. And this one is the first time we're going to be actually taking a look at jet technique. Now, I'm going to be relatively hands-off for the jet technique segments because they come down to just repeating tricks. So what that means is I'm going to show off the best areas that I know of for getting large scores from your tricks in every area of the game. There might be better ways to do it, there might be better spots, but these ones are ones I find reliable. The scores for Jet Technique vary, but generally just good advice is spend the entire time just getting as many points as you can through tricks, because you can't exit out of the mission early. You have to run out the clock on this one. It's not a fail state to run out the clock like with the other missions. You actually have to. I'm using Love Shockers because of their exceptionally high technique stat, although from my own experimentation, I can't really find what the difference in technique stat is. It's supposed to be that the amount of points you get from tricks is higher with a character with high technique. But every character in the game, regardless of technique stat, caps out at the same amount of points per trick, which is 100, not counting the multiplier. The multiplier also remains the same depending on what you're doing. Wall rides at max combo will always give you ×3 the amount of points you get, and same with doing air tricks between grinds. Now, you've probably seen this line before in earlier episodes because I've used it for getting points, but in Shibuya Jet, the bus terminal has the best spot for getting giant combos, which are entirely based off of just not touching the ground for long periods of time. If you just jump between the billboards and the rails, you should be fine. The hardest bits of this grind loop are staying on this overpass because you have to manage your speed a little bit, and then the jump between the two green rails because it's just a very large jump. Other than that, that's basically all you have to do. And this is also the method with which I basically found all the tricks for every character, which no one's really taken the time to list it for Jet Set Radio, or at least that I know of. So just listing the tricks I thought was a good thing, or like would be worth noting for showing off the characters. In finding that, I learned that with the grind trick, there's no discernible difference between regular, far side, regular, and backside. I can't see a difference in animation between the two of them, and they don't change the amount of points you get either. On top of that, every category of trick, which I've divided into 3 primary categories, airs, grinds, and verts, they are also split up into 2 categories, which are forward and reverse. You can do a turn move in this game by... It's so complicated to do because it's really finicky, but it's basically just supposed to be going forward, backward, then forward again. It's easier on keyboard, which is why I've been spamming it in some levels for just a little bit of extra points. But if you do that, you can turn into a reverse stance and basically walk backwards and approach rails and do jumps backwards, which gives you access to the reverse tricks. For aerial moves, every character has 2 unique forward and reverse airs, although some, like yo-yos, are copied between forward and reverse. For forward grinds, every character has 3, technically 6 if you count far side or backside variants, unique forward grinds, and 2/4 if you count front side and backside variants of reverse grinds. And then what applies to forward and reverse airs also applies to verts, but they tend to be different tricks. Again, except in the case of Yo-Yo, where they're not really. Although with Yo-Yo, his verts have an extra 180 degree of rotation on them versus the airs. It's interesting to note that every character has those specific numbers of tricks. I did several hours of testing all the characters for that, which is how I got the footage for their tricks, because some grinds just wouldn't come up. In fact, for the last character I'll be showing in this series, which I'm not going to mention now, I actually don't think I got the footage for one variant of their grinds, which has been gnawing away at my skull for ages, but I'm too lazy to actually fix that, so I'll just make an acknowledgement of it and say I didn't get the footage, or at least not that I know of. And with that, that's just about everything I wanted to say for this jet technique, so I'll leave the rest of this mission up, just so you can see me going through this if you still want to get the technique down or memorize the path. But otherwise, I'm gonna head out.
It's not Yeah!